All right, guys, we cannot wait for the fights this weekend. And this man is joining us here today to talk about one of the most exciting fights of 2024 so far. Red Hawk Tim Welch joins us ahead of Sean O'Malley's title defense against Chito at UFC 299. Man, thank you so much for fitting us in. I know how crazy your schedule is, dude. Like, means a lot to us for you to pop on with us here, especially with a big fight right around the corner.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Glad to be back.
Always a pleasure, man. How's the week coming along so far? I know you're getting some food. You're in beautiful Miami, somewhere where we can only dream of being, especially right around this time. How's the week and everything coming along so far?
Oh, it's going good. I mean, there's always been a lot of media for Sean, but now there's just so much. It's when he wakes up till he goes to bed, people doing calls and media and everything. So he does a good job at handling it, though.
Mm. Dude, I gotta say, so, we're not far away from this fight, and I want to find out from you, like, how has this training camp been overall compared to all the others you and Sean have had in the UFC?
This training camp's been actually really fun. It's really fun. I mean, him being healthy makes me super happy, and just the fact that this what happened with Chito before just made us really hungry for this fight, and the challenge that Chito's never been finished. He's never been dropped. He's never been TKO'd. He's never been KO'd. He's never been submitted. That was just a fun challenge to try to prepare for and try to plan on knocking him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got your work cut out for you. There's so many like different things, so many puzzles to solve when it comes to Chito Vera. We'll get into it in just a second, but have you heard some of the rumors? Aljamain Sterling was saying that he heard through the grapevine that Chito himself maybe hasn't had the best training camp. Have you heard any of that?
Yeah, I have heard that, and I've heard of other people that were sparring him, that were beating him up, but really none of that matters. What matters is that 25 minutes on that day that we show up in our sharpest. We had a terrible training camp against Aljo, and then we went out and knocked him out. So that kind of stuff doesn't matter. It's not like we're going to try any harder or any less.
Interesting, man. So, yeah, I guess it's not something that you really want to let go into your mind going into this one. Like you mentioned, yeah, Sean had a bad training camp but did so well. How satisfying is it to get this chance to get one back over Vera after UFC 252 and also doing it in his first title defense like this?
It's literally, well, Sean's whole career has kind of worked out like a dream. It's crazy how everything ended up, and now for the rematch to happen for the title is unreal. So Miami Saturday night is going to be crazy.
I'm wondering, man, as his coach, how do you approach rematches differently as opposed to other fights? This is Sean's first rematch, and it's obviously like a huge one. But coach-wise, how do you approach rematches?
No different at all. We've had, I think, 19 fights together now. 19 fights together, and every one's just the same. Back when he was an amateur, we have the fight camp and the team a lot more dialed in. Sean's a lot more disciplined with all these different experts, our strength conditioning coach, his nutrition coach, his recovery's on another level. His confidence is on another level. He's stronger than he's ever been. But we don't really think about the rematch that much because it was so many years ago. Both fighters have probably changed quite a bit. I know Sean has changed quite a bit. So don't really focus, it's a rematch. We just focus on punching him in the lips.
Well, yeah, because what do you think Chito has improved the most since that first fight in 2020?
I mean, after watching him versus Corey Sandhagen, I know that was probably a bad night. I know he had a fight canceled about 3 weeks prior, so he could have been overtrained for that fight. I think that's why he looked so bad against Corey Sandhagen. But it doesn't look like he really got leaps better anywhere. He had that close fight with Pedro Munoz. But like I said, he's dangerous and he's durable and he's got a strong mind. And a strong mind and being durable can get you really far in fighting. I just don't think it's at this day and age. I don't think you can be the type of athlete Chito is and become a champion. I think you have to be a pretty supreme athlete to be a champion of the world nowadays.
I've heard a lot of people sort of describe this fight almost as like technical skill versus attributes. What do you think of that assessment?
I mean, I heard Corey Sandhagen in an interview saying how Chito doesn't really do anything technically wrong, which I don't know how he really says that. He really swats hard at punches. He ducks his head a lot when he's backing up. And I wouldn't say it's just a different style. Chito has more of a Muay Thai style, and Sean has more of a little springy kickboxer. I'd just call it an MMA style. So Technical wise, Sean's just as good as Chito. He just has a different style.
I know a lot of people will be looking out for that leg kick in this rematch. You know, people that would have watched that first one. Just wondering, like, as a coach, obviously you guys are prepared for it. You guys have gone through it all. But how much do you think Chito is going to be relying on that leg kick? How much do you think it's going to play a factor this time around? And is it even something that is on the top of your mind going into this rematch?
I mean, the kid's got strong shins. His weapons are kicking the calf, and he's got a good head kick. He's got a good body kick. He's got some dangerous kicks, but after that happened with Chito, like, look what everyone after that thought they could leg kick Sean, and look how those turned out. Like Thomas Almeida from Shootbox Academy, great Muay Thai, great kickboxer. Plan on stalking Sean down and kicking his legs, and look how that worked out. So, I mean, we focused on it a little bit, but I brought in some really good sparring partners for Sean. I had him going with some elite people, so it's going to be nothing that he's not used to.
I was watching the countdown the other day, and like when they're promoting the fight, it's almost like the entire narrative, you know, like the way the first fight happened, the leg kick, the perennial nerve. I'm curious to get your take on it. I know obviously Sean's got his mentality on it. I'm curious to get into that, but do you think that was a fluke, or do you think that it's something that can be prepared for? How do you view it?
I mean, if it was the other way around, I'd be like, sorry, dude, we kicked your leg and your leg gave out. Fluke, kind of, because he did hit that nerve. But like I said before in my past videos, not making excuses, but he was complaining about the ankle wrap. It was too tight. He complained about it 2 times. He never complains to me about anything unless it's really serious. He complained about it 2 times. We had 5 minutes, so we had to walk. So I had the guys cut the top a little bit, cut the sides a little bit. But still, once he got that nerve kick, the blood just couldn't get back to his ankle. And if you've ever had your foot fall asleep, that's what he was fighting on, because of that ankle wrap. So I think that was my fault. And we definitely learned from every fight we've been in. So learned from that one.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I also wanted to get into like the mentality as well, because obviously, you know, the whole thing about like Sean speaking about being undefeated, and like, you know, on the surface, I know people memed it and stuff like that. And like, you know, obviously that's just what happens on the internet. But I'm curious, like, you could look at it a couple of ways. One way would be like, well, in order to fix a problem, you got to address it, you got to accept it. Another way would be also that, like, if you overthink it, then it's just going to get in your head. And thinking about it, you know, leading up into a fight could be detrimental. I'm curious where you stand on like that whole mentality. As his coach, do you sort of share the sentiment, or how do you view it?
Like we do, he's so good at staying present, staying in the moment. He has such a good meditation practice every day that he can bring himself into the present moment in high pressure situations. And I mean, that's the key. If you're constantly focused about what happened 4 years ago, or you're worried about, I need to win this fight, just worried about the results, I mean, you're going to have some issues. He's so good at staying present, and we're going to have the big octagon that I'm not really worried about it. We've done literally all the work we possibly can do. Whatever happens is going to happen, and then we'll deal with it. So.
What would be more satisfying for you, man? Going in there, getting another highlight reel knockout, you know, that's going to be played on Sports Center, or going in there and beating Chito in a 5-round, you know, either masterpiece or just to prove that no matter how long the fight goes, what happens, Sean is superior?
Yeah, it would be more. I mean, if he knocked him out, cool, but it would be more satisfying going 5 rounds and having Sean piece him apart the whole time, break down his body, take him down, and just beat his ass and break him physically for 5 rounds. People think, oh my God, he gets tired. He has a cardio problem. It's like, you've never fought him. He decides the pace, and they're like, hey, look how tired he got against Peter. It's like, because that fight was a sprint from the beginning, and it was such a high-paced fight. The paces are different in 5 rounds, so it'd be satisfying for me, and I know he's got the conditioning to do it, to go out there for 25 minutes and just make Chito look bad and whoop his ass for 25 minutes and break him.
It's a huge fight, man, and I'm glad this is the first defense, because it's something that people have wanted for so long. And obviously, like, these guys were so much younger when the first fight happened. A lot has happened since. But I'm curious, like, from your perspective, first rematch, first and only loss on the record, the chance to avenge it. What do you think this fight sort of marks in terms of Sean's career arc?
I think it's just going to be a good statement. A good statement. Every single post since that fight happened, people are memeing it, people are talking about it. So it's going to be a good statement. It's going to shut a lot of people up when he whoops Cheeto's ass.
By the way, I gotta ask, dude. Like, obviously, UFC 300, it is what it is. It's a great card, but a lot of people sort of expected that wow factor. Sean O'Malley, kind of a no-brainer to have on a big card like that. Are you guys surprised that the UFC didn't kind of delay this one a little bit and put it on UFC 300? It kind of feels like that would really make it a bit more special in terms of making that card a little bit more bigger.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they did for UFC 199 back in the day. But I don't know. Dana and those guys at the UFC, they know what they're doing. They're the absolute experts. They're way ahead of us in everything when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we don't really worry about that.
Yeah, 100%. 199. I think that was Bisping and Rockhold, which is funny because obviously you got Perillo as well in the corner of Chito. So I don't know if you want to get into all that, the sentimentality. But yeah, this fight card's an absolute banger. We are just talking to Luke Thomas before about how great of a card it is. Just switching gears, we've got to bring this up, man. What have you made of this whole Ryan Garcia feud that's popped up and him sort of saying that he would beat Sean in MMA? What was your take on that?
I mean, if you guys have ever done any drugs and stuff, you do those things and you start talking crazy, and it's like he's getting people talking. If he is trolling, like he said, sometimes he says he is. I don't think he is. I think he's messed up. But if he is trolling, I mean, he's getting people talking about him, and a lot of people that weren't going to watch that Devin Haney fight versus Ryan Garcia, they'll probably watch it right now just because they want to see what happens. So if he's that high level of troll, which I don't think he is, good for him. But I think he's just, I think he's surrounded by a bunch of bad people, has a lot of money, take a couple snorts of that coke, and you think you can do anything. I think that's what's going on.
How do you think an MMA fight realistically would play out between Garcia and O'Malley if it actually happened?
I think Sean's such a showman that he wouldn't want to just take him down and submit him like Randy Couture did to James Toney. He'd probably he'd want to make the kid suffer a bit. He'd want to kick his legs. He'd want to kick his body, kick him in the head, maybe take him down just to wear him out a little bit. And he'd probably want to really embarrass him. That's the type of kid Sean is. He could go out there, take him down right away and submit him within the first 45 to 50 seconds. He could go out there and really whip some head kicks and probably knock him out, but he would probably want to just play with him and make him look really bad.
Yeah, I love that about Sean. Like, he would want to take it into Ryan's like strong suit and win there. I know that fans would be excited about a potential matchup, but I'm feeling like if there was going to be a fight between the two one day, Sean would be more interested in actually having a boxing match with Ryan to beat him in the thing that he's best in, because we know Sean's got some of the best boxing in MMA.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like if you count him out completely out, then you're stupid, because he has knockout power in both hands, and I've seen him spar undefeated professional boxers. Probably not quite as good as Ryan Garcia, but up there. I've seen him spar 10-0 boxers, 11-0 boxers, guys with hundreds of amateur fights, and he gives those guys serious problems. So to say he'd go out there and get steamrolled, you got to be just stupid.
Hey, just on a side note, I'm curious what you think of you guys sort of going up against AJ Ngannou. You got AJ Ngannou coming up the same weekend. You got O'Malley and Vera. What do you think of sort of like, having the same fight same weekend?
Well, is Ngannou and Francis, that's on a Friday?
Yeah. So it's different nights. I think the only main difference is like who buys what pay-per-view first or pre-orders, and then obviously the media that go, whether they're going to AJ Ngannou or Miami.
I mean, probably, especially in America, all the bars are going to be buying the UFC. I think the UFC is going to do really well, especially with this card specifically. Even if it was the same night, I think the UFC would still outbuy the Francis Ngannou fight.
Yeah, man, fair point. Speaking of head-to-head, don't forget to look after your downstairs head, arguably the most important head, and swing into 2024 with a set of freshly shaved nuts. Our good friends at Manscaped have you covered in all departments, specifically with Manscaped's new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Introducing the MVP of 2024, Manscaped's 5th generation lawnmower. It's not just a trimmer, it is your grooming sidekick, equipped with 2 skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. It's like having a personal stylist at your fingertips, literally, or wherever you need it. And it's waterproof. And for the full grooming experience, look no further than Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0. You get the trusted lawnmower itself, Manscaped's ear and nose hair trimmer, the essential aftercare product as well, with the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. That's right, specific deodorant just for your boys downstairs. You also get the Boxers 2.0 as a free gift and the Shed Travel Bag 2.0 also as a gift. We couldn't live without ours. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. And not only that, you help the show and you have smooth balls. I mean, it's a win-win situation. Just go to Manscaped, use code word submission, get 20% off and free shipping today. That's code word submission, 20% off and free shipping today. But Tim, I know you're not looking past Chito. I got to ask though, who do you think is next for Sean? Obviously, you've got Merab there after his win over Henry Cejudo, but who do you think is next for Sean O'Malley?
I mean, again, that's up to the UFC. Those are the smartest guys, but I know Sean wants the biggest fights, and Merab's finally starting to climb the ranks, and he's on a 10-fight win streak, so it's kind of hard to deny him. So probably Merab, and then hopefully, if everything plays out like we hope it plays out, maybe Merab. See how Corey Sandhagen does with the Ilia Topuria fight. Ilia's even talking about that fight. That's a really big, cool fight down the road, I think.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Like Sean was talking with Shaq and he said he wouldn't mind fighting Ilia after a few title defenses. Why is Ilia a guy that excites you guys? Because obviously he's got a huge following himself, Chris boxing, big star himself. But what is it about that fight that really excites you guys?
I think he's just so skilled, and it's a fight that's almost like scary. Like similar to Peter Yan. It's like they offered us Peter Yan in Abu Dhabi. And that was like scary. I was like, oh shit, really? Peter Yan? He butchers people. He doesn't just whoop people's ass. He fucking hurts people. So same with Ilia. Ilia is both of our probably favorite fighter to watch. I think he's the most sound guy literally in the UFC. And I just think it's just a cool challenge. Obviously a dangerous challenge. If that fight that night goes bad, and Sean could be laying there on the canvas, but there's also a chance that Sean can knock out Ilia out cold too.
Well, it's a good point. It's kind of like going all in. You push all your chips in because and I agree with you. It's fucking scary because not only are you moving up in weight, but also it's a guy that like you kind of have to be perfect against for 5 rounds, right? Because he'll carry that power in, and like you could be going. It could be almost like Pereira and Israel. You're doing great the whole fight, and then something happens right at the end.
Yeah, he's that Ilia Topuria. He's so skilled. His boxing is so crisp and so sharp. In some of his fights in the past, he does overswing though. And anyone who's overswinging and really trying to come after Sean, I mean, you're going to be in trouble. He's one of the best counterpunchers. I mean, I think Sean's the best counterpuncher in the world. But not only he can't only counterpunch, he can come forward too. So I don't know. All these challenges get you excited. We got to get through Chito first. So it's fun talking about all that shit, but we have this tough Ecuadorian Saturday night who's coming in there, and he's going to be willing to die in there. And he's very dangerous, and he has a very good coach. So it's fun to talk about what's next, but we got to worry about this kid.
Yeah, man. Well, as we wrap up, got to ask you, like, how do you feel this one's going down? I know you mentioned you'd love to see it sort of in a 5-round fight where, you know, Sean's able to sort of piece Chito up, but how do you actually think it goes down? What's your prediction for this rematch?
I hope Chito comes and tries to make it a fight. I hope he tries to come and make it a fight. If he's going to sit there and try to go point for point for Sean for 5 rounds, he's the slower guy. If he did have a bad camp, he might be happy with just going to a decision and losing. As long as he doesn't get finished, he might be happy with that if he had a terrible camp. I hope he comes to win and comes to try to fuck Sean up and make it a fight, not make it a boring fight where he stands, like I said, going point for point. Because if he does go point for point, it's like, okay, Sean's going to do that. He's just as long. He's faster. He's more accurate. He's going to win a 5-round decision then. So.
On that, are you also hoping that in a way he sort of tests Sean in the later rounds? Let's say the camp's fine and he's ready to go. I think that's kind of where people are expecting, or what they're expecting of Chito, that like he's got that fighting spirit and he's just undeterred no matter what. Are you also, as a coach, curious how it goes down in the later rounds between Chito and Sean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. But it's not like Chito comes out there like a Marab. He doesn't come out there pedal to the metal from the first round to the 5th round. He'll come out there and he'll try to come out first, second round, try to think out Sean's going to out punch himself and try to pick it up second or third, fourth, fifth. I don't know. But he's just not that. Yeah, people are like, man, he got great cardio. It's like, yeah, if he stands there and covers up like this, stands there and covers up like this the whole time, it's like not that hard to have great cardio. But like I said, he was getting his ass whooped by all these guys, and then he comes back and wins and he knocks them out. So he is dangerous for 5 rounds, 100%.
All right, dude. Well, we can't wait to watch it. And congratulations is in order. Tim's YouTube channel just made 100,000 subscribers. Dude, I know how hard you work on your channel. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, one of the best channels in MMA at Tim Welch. So many great videos about recovery, training. You get to insight into technique and breakdowns, of course, to the Red Hawk recap and all sorts of stuff. Dude, I know me and Casper know how hard it is to maintain a YouTube channel. Absolutely massive. Congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching this. And of course, follow Tim on social media at Tim Welch MT as we go into a big historic fight weekend at UFC 299. Tim, thank you so much for joining us, man. Best of luck this weekend.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me. See you later.